you guys for tuning back in to Channel Yam with your girl Candace with a K. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, subscribe, all of the above. Thank you again for always tuning in. Let's jump right into it. So today I'm very excited because we get to talk about a topic that I have a lot of experience in, aka more than 10 years of experience, and it's the home buying process. But we're not just gonna dive right into what the process may look like, what it may feel like. I am going to give you guys 5 myths about the home buying process. That is right, 5. So one of my favorite myths, it's not quite my favorite, but one of the biggest myths, one of my favorite myths that I always like to talk about is you having to put down 20% to purchase a home. That's crazy, right? But a lot of you guys think that you have to put down 20%. The answer is you do not have to put down 20% to purchase a home. Some lenders allow you to put down 3 to 5% or even low. There's some lenders, they don't even ask for a down payment because there's so many different type of programs that is out there. So when you are putting down 20%, it will take away, with most lenders, don't get me wrong, with most lenders, 20% will take away that private mortgage insurance that the lenders will call PMI. And what that is, it is when you default on your mortgage, it helps the lenders and they still get their money back, and that insurance company just goes ahead and pay that lender, which is your that is with a conventional loan that you will see that private mortgage insurance. Some other loans do have insurance like FHA and things like that, and VA, they also have their own type of insurance over the loan. But right now we're going to talk about the conventional loan and where you can put the 3 to 5% down. So I'm a person who really likes the numbers of things, and so to have the visual of what 20% down looks like versus 3%, because in y'all heads 20% may not really sound a lot, like, oh, 20%, but it is a lot. So let's take a home, for example, a pretty little home. It's worth 300 grand. That's what we're gonna start with, 300 grand. Get your pencil and paper out for this if you want to take notes. I forgot to say that in the beginning. But when you find a 300 grand home, 20% of that is 60,000. I don't know about y'all, but I don't just have 20% of 300 grand, which is 60,000, just sitting in a bank account waiting for me to just give to the bank and be like, oh yeah, I want that house. But some of you may have it, and that's not a problem either. However, 3% of that 3,000 is going to be $9,000. I'd rather pay the $9,000 versus the $60,000 any day, anytime. I just rather much do that and put more money towards my principal and interest, which we had talked about in a different video. Let's not get too deep into that, putting 20% versus 3% and what the mortgage payments would look like. I just want to show you guys the difference in what you could be saving in aspects of that. And just to let you know, you will also have to pay closing cost fees and your property taxes and insurances when you are purchasing a home. But like I said, we will dive deep into the home buying process in later videos down the line. Myth number 2, renting is always cheaper than buying. That's not always true, because you have to look at the bigger picture of things. The location, are you living in the city? Are you living outside of the city? What is the current market conditions that you have? Also, some people have money that they're able to use towards their down payment and have a way bigger down payment so they can have a lower mortgage payment than some people who rent. Also, what are your long-term plans when you're thinking about buying versus renting and the overall cost of things. So let's break that down a little more so you can understand that myth at a different level. So when you're breaking that down, when you're looking at the initial cost to rent versus to buy a home, renting, you're gonna have initial upfront fees. That is the deposit, the security deposit, and things like that. And sometimes you have to pay utilities up front depending on the place that you're going to be renting from. So it's fewer upfront costs when you think about renting versus buying. On the buying spectrum, you have a down payment, you have your closing cost fees, you got property insurance that you got to pay for, and taxes. Then we didn't even get started with the realtor commissions, whether or not you're going to be paying for that, inspections. So all these other things that may come in line with home buying, the home buying one is definitely going to be more in the end for those initial costs up front. Okay, so when we're talking about the monthly payments that renters have to pay versus the buyers are paying when they're paying a mortgage, renters, they're typically only going to pay for the rent and not maintenance costs, where someone who owns a home is going to have to pay for the maintenance. So think of if you're a homeowner versus a renter, you're going to be the landlord yourself for the mortgage person who owns their property. So you're going to have to pay for all those expenses that fall under your home. Renters, they typically don't have to pay for things like that unless it's in their contract to do so. And renters typically also do not pay for property taxes as well. Some renters do have to pay for insurance. I do recommend everyone having insurance on, whether it's on their mortgage, on their house, or if you're just renting through a landlord, a private or non-private sector. Always have insurance and make sure you're covered. I highly recommend. And also for rent, they typically can go up on your rent depending on the condition of the market. So you may have moved in and it was $1,000. After a year, it may even go up to $1,200 if the market in that area did increase. People who typically have a mortgage, if it's at a fixed rate, that principal and interest part is not going to change over the course of that loan term. However, your taxes and insurance will fluctuate. So when we're looking at the long-term investment of both renting and buying, when you are renting, you're paying the landlord and you're not making any equity or any wealth based off of you just paying your rent. When you are paying a mortgage, you are paying the lender and the bank. And when you drop that mortgage payment down and down over time, it gives you equity if your property does appreciate over time. And it usually does. And that also depends on the market condition at that time when it does appreciate. So you will be making more money on the back end when you own it. However, I don't want to dive too deep into all of that in this video. So renting, in the short-term aspects of things, it is cheaper to rent. But in the long run, when you are buying a home, you are building equity that will appreciate over time. So in the long run, that is a better financial choice for a lot of people. And number 3, you can't buy a home if you have student loan debt. What? Who said that? Who said that? Not I over here. Yes, y'all can buy a home with student loan debt. Remember, the lenders are not going off the balances of your student loan debt. They're going off that monthly payment that you're paying to those debtors. So not the balance, what's on the monthly. So let's keep y'all debts to income ratios between 10 to 15%. when you're not including the rent and the mortgage housing part on your debt to income ratios. And once again, all of these we're gonna dive deeper in later videos, so I won't confuse you. This is only gonna be on the myths. But y'all, you can get a home if you have student loan debts. I'll say it again. You can buy you a home if you got student loan debts. Don't let anybody fool y'all from getting what's y'all's and what you worked hard for, okay? Thank you. Clock it. And you can also consolidate your student loan debts as well. Don't be paying 5 different people when you can consolidate, okay? Now let's get into the 4th myth, guys, okay? And this one is a little bit a secret. You can't buy a home if you don't have any savings. That's not always true, because some programs offer a no down payment option. Did y'all hear me? A no down payment option. Isn't that wonderful? And there's some programs out there with a low cost down payment. So there's a lot of down payment assistance programs out there. A lot of you guys may or may not know about these programs, but I'll be gladly to help you with any of those programs, letting you know how to apply, where to apply, when to apply, because y'all do not have to have any savings to purchase a home. However, as a HUD counselor, I will always and always recommend you to start saving and still apply for the programs that say you don't have to have a savings. So then when something happens in that new home that you purchase, you can pay for it and not have to take out any loans or use credit cards or any of that wild stuff. Always start putting money in your savings. Today, actually, if you don't have a savings, go open you a savings account, baby. Okay? Put $5 in it. Whatever the minimum requirement, put that in there. And then every time you get paid, put something in there. It can be $25. I will always remember what my Uncle Andrew told me one day. He said, always save your money. And y'all, we just had a pandemic not too long ago, and a lot of people lost their jobs. So just imagine you buying a home and you didn't have any money for your down payment and the pandemic hit, and then you lose your job. I don't have to explain to you what the rest will happen, but I will. They're going to take your home, and that's not going to be fun for you and your family to be homeless after all the hard work of you getting to there. So start today putting money into your savings, okay? You're going to thank me in the long run. The goal that I give to all my clients is have a year worth of your household expenses in a savings account with all the deductibles of your home and your auto insurance, okay? No, that doesn't mean you need to do that before you purchase a home. That is a goal you want to have when you are in the home, before you have the home. All the above. Just get the money into that savings account. If you got to get a 3rd job, get a 3rd job, okay? Just make sure you're saving your coins. And the 5th one of the day is new construction homes are always the best homes to buy. Not really. That myth, everyone goes back and forth over that one. New construction has its own problems that you will run into. If you have a new construction, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, listen in. So with new constructions, they have not been around as long as the homes that were built in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, and sometimes even 100 years ago when those ones were built. They have never went through a tornado. They have never been through a windstorm, never a snowstorm, whatever type of issue. It ain't even never went through that. So we don't even know if it's going to be able to stand on that. And sometimes all those warranties that come with new construction doesn't even work for the things that you need to have fixed. As in, you got your washer and dryer. Next thing you know, the washer's going boop, 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 and leaking water. You call up the warranty people. They say, hello, Miss Candace. Hello, Miss Jill. How you doing? I'm doing great. My washer doesn't work. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, what's broke with it? What's wrong? It's leaking water. Oh, we're going to send someone over right away, Miss Candace. And then they come. Oh, that's not in your warranty if it's leaking water out of that valve. It's supposed to only break with the lid. So we can't cover that. What? I pay monthly for this warranty. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't fix it? Exactly. Not saying all new constructions are like that, but a lot of them have the same issues. And do your research. Each house is gonna have its issue, whether it's a new construction or old construction. There's no perfect home. And every homeowner that's watching this will definitely let you know that it's a problem. Because when I bought my home, the first thing that broke was the heater. We live in a cold town. We can't be walking around with no heater. We had to drop $7,000. That's a lot of money to be dropping when you first move into a home. Yeah. So sometimes your home inspector can't predict all of the issues that may happen, especially on a new construction when it's only been there for how many months or how many years. So you never know. It's always not the best choice. I always say, do your research. Ask the neighbors who already own that new construction, how it's going, boo? You like it? Do you recommend? Because you can ask. Speak up. So definitely do your research on all of the things when it comes to home buying. Ask your local HUD counselor. Ask anyone. Any type of questions that you guys want to know when it comes to home buying. I want you guys to know the ins and outs and the important information before you jump into that wagon. Is your budget on point? Do you understand what you're getting into? Do you know how to pick up the phone if you see an issue? Do you know how to pick up the phone if you feel like you're not even going to be able to make this month's rent? To see the resources that may help you in time and need. Owning a home versus buying a home. What are the conditions? What is everything? So I just want you guys to be prepared at the end of the day. I was able to be prepared when buying my first home. I wasn't afraid to ask the questions. And if you are, like I said, you can type it in the chat. Make a comment, ask those questions. I will definitely be on top of responding to you guys. If not, someone in the comments may answer your question. But there will be tons of videos wrapped around preparing for your first purchase, even preparing for your second or your third, whatever one it is. I'm your girl and you will see those videos. Thanks so much again for tuning in to Channel Yam and going over the 5 myths with me, guys. What other things you guys want to hear? Because there's tons of myths out there. I just wanted to give y'all 5. And that's all we have for today. And thank you guys. If I don't see you guys again before the New Year's, Happy New Year's. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Every single thing you do, you